Hey you guys, it's Peter, and welcome to my channel, Peterisms, where I tell stories of my life and just little things that I've learned as I've grown into the person that I am today. And it is my 25th sobriety birthday today. It feels, I know if you guys watched my video yesterday, I talked about the last day. And I was gonna go in and talk a lot about my story and what had happened today, but I actually think I'm gonna save a lot of that for my vlog tonight. That will be up tomorrow. And I talked a lot about it last night on my vlog as well. That will be up today. So, I don't know what I want to talk about over here today. I do have a meditation that I'm going to read in a second because I'd kind of like to finish it with that meditation, or finish this with that meditation. I don't even know what it says. I just pulled one book today, and it's from the Amy Dean book, but I thought to kind of end the day on this, for me, I think might be kind of spiritual, and I want to see what it has to say. You know, I've been thinking a lot over the last 25 years and the people that I've met, and it's really been the people that have changed my life, you know. I've thought about all of my sponsors that I've had, from the very first sponsor that I got when I was in treatment, that my counselor hooked me up with, and we just did not relate to each other whatsoever. And I can remember, but you know, like I remember sitting in Perkins restaurant with him and his three friends, and I would be sitting there, you know, and I would be thinking to myself, I do not relate to this guy whatsoever, and he is still sober today, but I see him from time to time, and he's always like, hey, how are you? He's so nice, right? But like, he really helped me, and I look back on that, he really helped me my first, you know, like 6 months, and I think it was about my first, maybe my first 4 or 5 months, and I got somebody else, but, and my second sponsor that I had, who, helped me work my steps the first time, and he was really my heartstone for my early sobriety and told me the tough things that I needed to hear, you know. He passed away from a heroin overdose years ago, and anyway, you know, some of those out there, those angels on earth that save our lives, don't make it themselves, and I'm so completely grateful for him, and I'm so completely thankful for him, and it breaks my heart that he couldn't do for his own life what he did for mine, and I am forever, forever thankful to that man and to his family that brought me in. His wife was one of my dearest friends at the time, and they just enveloped me, and I remember when I did my 5th step with him. So when you do your 5th step with somebody, it's like you do your 4th step, which is a searching and fearless moral inventory of your life, right? This is really just like a share in a meeting today, I don't know why, but you sit down and you do a searching and fearless moral inventory of your life. And then you go over that with your sponsor, you know, in a 5th step, and you share all that with it, and you take a look at what your part is and stuff. Well, my mom, who had gotten sober 6 months after I did, she did hers, and her sponsor took her to this place called the Flowing Well in Carmel, and it was in the summer, and it was outside, and it was beautiful, and all this kind of stuff, right? And I'm waiting for my husband to text me because he is going to be home any second. So anyway, so anyway, she had this like a 5th step that was very spiritual. They sat on a blanket, they had like a little picnic. Her sponsor brought her these stones that said like serenity and peace on them, and I had heard all these kinds of stories of people saying, oh my god, my 5th step changed my life. It changed my life, you know. And basically you put everything on there, from your resentments to your fears, and you talk about your sexual conduct, and you talk about who you are as a person and all that kind of stuff, right? And then you look at how that's affected your ego, your pride, your working relationships, your other relationships, and everything like that. And then you look at what your part is in that, and you find trends in that, and patterns, you know, behavior patterns and things like that. And so when I did my 5th step, my sponsor, who I had put it off, and he was like, you're fine, you're going to do this, or you're going to find another sponsor. And I was more afraid to get another sponsor than I was to do this 5th step. So I sat down with him, and I did it at his house. And I remember we were in the basement, and the kids were running around. I mean, I had imagined this very peaceful, serene moment, okay? It was just going to be so peaceful. And the kids were running back and forth. He had like 4 kids. They were running back and forth upstairs. And the wife shouted down at one point, y'all want Kentucky Fried Chicken? Because we're getting Kentucky Fried Chicken. And he's like, yeah. It just was this craziness, right? And, but I think like at that time, like that's what I needed. And I remember, because after you do that, you're supposed to reflect for an hour, and he told me to go upstairs and I laid down for like an hour, and I just reflected on everything, you know. And I remember he said to me, what 3 things are you not telling me? Because those will be the things that make you use. And in that moment right there is I think the most poignant thing about as addicts and alcoholics, you know, we are secret keepers. We don't talk. We don't tell those things about ourselves that we feel bad. That's not about drugs and alcohol. The drugs and the alcohol mute all that. They make us not have to feel about all of that. You know, and that's why when I talk about recovery, I talk about for me, the importance of a 12-step program. People don't have to do that, but when we want to talk about dry drunks or dry addicts and things like that, that are not fixing the things internally that are going on with them, I would be dead right now. With all of that stuff that I had inside of me, if I had just stopped drinking for me, I can only speak for me, if I had just stopped using and not gotten that stuff out and talked about it, and I'm so forever grateful for him for pushing me on that. Well, I think that day I might have shared one of them. But you know, the really scary thing about that is, one thing that wasn't a huge thing, but for me, I had made it a huge thing. I held on to for 18 years. 18 years of my life. I really don't know how I didn't go back out and use, because for me, it was like this small thing that I had created. Have you ever done that? Like you have this one thing in your life that is kind of small. Like it came from, you know, when I was growing up, but it was like this small thing, but then I had blown it up as this huge thing in my head. And so I remember sitting outside my best friend's patio, and we were talking one night, and this is at 18 years sober, you guys. So this is only, you know, what, 7 years ago, something like that. And we were talking and we were sharing stuff, and she and I know everything about each other. And I told her this thing that was like, just, it was silly. It was this silly thing, right? And I'm bawling my eyes out. I mean, I look back on that now and I think, God, it was such a silly thing, you know? And I look back on it, and she looked at me and she said, and God still loves you. You know, and it was in that moment that I realized that I'm just human, and whatever my higher power is, or whatever, you know, there's forgiveness to be had, and there's gratitude and thankfulness that comes along with this life that we're given. And I'm so, so grateful for my recovery today, you know. And today I know that my recovery is a gift. And I was talking about this in my vlog last night, that there often, I think, that when you get multiple years of sobriety, and I mean like in the 20s and 30s, I have friends of mine that have 40 plus years of sobriety. You know, I think to some degree, and I can't speak for them, but I can only speak for myself, and you know, we were talking about this last night, that I think that we take it for granted sometimes. You know, when I was in early sobriety, that 30 days, that 60 days, those were tough times, right? Like, I go and watch my vlog that I post today, because I go in there and I talk about, like, there were literally days, okay, that I could not make it a half an hour without using. And then I look today and it's like, there are days that go by, and if I'm not going to a meeting, or I haven't talked to somebody in sobriety, which there's barely a day that goes by that's like that, I don't really think of myself that way. You know what I mean? Like, I don't like disclose it from my mind. I always know that Boo Radley is going crazy right here. He's like, Dad, I want some attention. I mean, I always know my truth, you know, being an alcoholic and an addict. But at the same time, it's like, it isn't like how it was early on. And people always ask me, like, how did you get through the cravings? How did you get through all of that? I don't know. I think I just put one foot in front of the other, and I did the things that I was told on some level. I said this last night, and I will say this in the video. One of the things that saved my life was that I actually picked up the phone and reached out to people. I was terrified to do that. I was terrified to reach out to people, but I did. And then they would say, this is what we're going to do, okay? And people came over to my house, and they sat with me, or they came and picked me up, and they entertained me, because I did not know how to be by myself in my head at that time. It was so scary to me, you know? So I look back on all of that, and it's all those people, you know, all these. I had a sponsor for 12 years, fantastic man, spiritual guide like nobody's business. You know, he would break things down for me in the most simplistic ways. You know, he was one of the guys that said to me, you know, I would always worry about stuff, and he would say, 90% of the things I worry about never even happen, you know? And I would get so frustrated or so upset with myself over something that I had done like the day or two before. You know, like, I'm so stupid, I messed up. And he goes, literally, why are you crying over spilt milk? You cannot do anything about what happened now except for to rectify your actions and to learn from it going forward. And he would just say these things to me, you know? And the one thing that he always said to me, and this is the one thing that I have to say, including my current sponsor, which, if it wasn't for her and the time that she came along in my life, and, you know, I want to share this on here because this is a 12-step thing that it is encouraged and suggested that men sponsor men and women sponsor women, and that you have a sponsor who has a working knowledge of the 12 steps, has a sponsor themselves and is sponsorable, and has also been sober for a year or longer. That is suggested. For 21, 22 years of my life, I had a male sponsor because I thought that's what I was supposed to do. It is also suggested that gay men can have female sponsors and lesbians can have male sponsors. That is also suggested, that is allowed as well. But I always felt like I needed to have a male sponsor. But I never, as close as I got to the sponsors that I had that were fantastic men and always gave me so much in my life, I never had that closeness or that relationship that I have with my sponsor today. She called me today and said some things to me that, like, I haven't heard in a long time about myself, and really nice things, and things that she is, you know, proud of me for, and the work that I've done. Because, you know, I get on here and I talk in my vlog and all that kind of stuff, but there's things that, like, there's so much that I work on behind the scenes that people don't know, and you know, that's not for everybody to validate. It's not even for me to sit on here and go, oh, I'm the greatest person in the entire world. But to have the person that I've been working on that, you know, hand in hand, to acknowledge the work that I've done. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for her. And not only is she my sponsor, but today she is my friend. She is one of my dearest friends. And I love her. I love her with all of my heart. She's just one of the most fantastic human beings I've ever met in my entire life. The people that I have met throughout the way, you know, have been the ones that have changed me. That would not go without saying if I didn't talk about YouTube, and I didn't talk about all of you out there that share your personal stories with me and come up to me. When people come up to me on the streets, it is this channel that people talk about. It is not my other channels. It is this channel that people talk to me about and say, thank you for what you shared, whatever. But what I want you to know is that if it wasn't for the comments on this channel and the interaction and you guys sharing your personal stories and emailing me and direct messaging me, even if I don't respond, I want you to know I read all of those. I don't know where this channel would exist today. And this channel morphed into something that I never thought it would be. And I am so incredibly grateful for that. And I want you to know that each and every single one of you out there has the power to change somebody's life. When I look back on the 25 years of my life of sober and clean, it is not the things I did. It is not the moments that I had. It is the people that I spent them with, and the people that told me the things I needed to hear, and the people that loved me enough until I could love myself. It was all of those people that changed who I am as a person today. And you have the power to change people as well, and don't ever forget that. So anyway, I'm not going to read the meditation because it's getting late, and I think my husband just pulled up and he's in the driveway. He just said here. So I just want to say this. Because I talk on here a lot about meditation books and all this kind of stuff, I'm doing a giveaway over on my Peter Review Stuff channel, a huge one, so go over there. I'm also giving a giveaway on my Peter Monn channel today, but I wanted to do a giveaway over here. So I'm doing a $25 giveaway, Amazon giveaway, so that maybe you could buy a book or two that I talk about on here and that you could read along as well, or any kind of meditation book that you want to, or I don't know, Cranberry Sprite if you want to. You can buy whatever you want, makeup, you can buy whatever, pair of shoes, sure. You know, you can buy whatever you want, but I want to do something nice to all of you guys over here, and I want to give a $25 gift card as well over here to buy maybe like 1 or 2 meditation books. So anyway, yeah, so all you have to do is comment in the comment section below. You don't have to follow me. You don't have to be subscribed to this channel or my Instagram or anything like that. It'd be nice if you did, but you don't have to. This is for you guys because I love you so much. And anyway, so a comment below. I will announce the winner on Friday. And I love you guys. Thank you for being so supportive of me. And thank you for being along for the ride. I love you, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.